I've got the whole car primed and I'm just about to paint the bottom of the chassis here. I've already done the back half in KBS quite a few months back, but I'm going to do this like I'm going to do the rest of the car. I've put etch primer on, then 2-pack high fill primer. I've just rubbed it back with some 240 paper and Scotch-Brite, and I'll see how it goes. I'm not going to pay too much attention to it because you're not really going to see under here. And so I'm just going to finish rubbing it back. I'll wipe it down and then I'll start chucking some paint on it. I'm just mixing up my base coat now. Put some thinners in there. I think it might need a little bit more. I'll test it first and find out. All this has been washed down with wax and grease remover. I've masked off the areas that I don't want painted for the moment. And done some seam sealing. These areas. And now it's nearly time to paint. I'm just mixing up the paint, and it says to put 50% thinners, but it seemed a bit thick, so I'm going to add a bit more. And I'll just give it a test spray and then see how that goes. I got the first coat on. I'm not entirely happy with the way it was spraying, but let's see what adjustments I can make to make it flow a bit better. But at least I got paint on, I'm happy with that. I've done 2 coats now and I'm getting much better flow out of the gun. I guess it's all in the way you set it up, and I'm just learning as I go, but this is much better. I'm going to let this dry off and I'll give it one more coat. Then I'll let that dry and then I can get into some clear. I'm just mixing up the clear coat now. Give it a few coats and then see how that looks. I just put the second coat of clear on. That looks nice. Now just let that dry and then I'll get into the engine bay. Just masking up the areas that I've already painted and I don't want to get dirty. Another thing I bought is I was a bit worried about oil getting through the line and into the paint. So I bought this filter system. They sell for about $400, which is pretty good value if anybody decides they want to go that way. Just done first coat with the PPG. It went on quite nicely. Pretty happy with that. So I'm just going to let it flash off for another 15 minutes or so and then hit it again. Once you finish spraying, it's really important to pull the gun right down and clean it because the paint builds up inside. So it's good to pull the whole thing out, make sure inside there is clean. Even just soak the whole gun in thinners for an hour or two will be fine, or overnight, whatever you like to do. I've masked up the areas that I want to put the sealer in. Let's see. And I'm going to apply it with this stick and a couple of bits of cardboard. So I've never done this before, so I'll just have to see how it goes. It's a bit hard to film it and do it at the same time, but basically I just squeeze the filler in and then go over it with a rag with thinners, and here I use the brush with thinners on it. There's probably other ways to do it, but I was wondering how I'm going to get the spring off. So what I've done, I just bent a piece of rod, put a nut on each end, just set it in like that. Open up the hinge. And, oops. It's off. It can stay like that while I paint it until it's ready to go back on again. K-frames in with new bushes, new ball joints, the bonnet and hinges. I'll put them on tomorrow, I'll just let them dry. So I'm just about to fit the guards. After I get all this in tomorrow, I'll be able to put the guards and the front nose cone on and then start cutting for the flares, which should be interesting.